Hello.
Hello. Привет.
Hello. Arrivederci. No, that's goodbye.
That's good.
Yeah,
I think
that's
Italian.
It's Italian. That's completely the wrong start.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Right. So, our second show.
Welcome to Unknown Koke Dinosaur, and it is hot.
Very hot.
It's
It's
what?
clear right now.
Yes.
The skies are absolutely clear.
A weekly forecast is clear, very hot, humid, not a breath of wind.
As far as the eye can see.
Outside anyway.
And a lot of news too.
A lot of news. Yes. A long week of events has happened.
Yep.
since the
And
last
Easter
podcast.
holidays
Yes.
too. We've had Easter in our own special way. We've
Yeah,
had a
I
few
forgot,
Easter egg
yes.
hunts. I think we should start with the news then. Just
The
an
news,
overview of the
yes.
news, I guess. So everyone knows that Boris Johnson has been into hospital, in and out of hospital.
out by now. Yes. The biggest political.
I guess so, yeah. And the review of the lockdown, we kind of knew what the lockdown was going to say, I guess, or what the review was going to say, and that's just a continuing lockdown situation. That's the result of the review, really. I guess
We're
it's
going to
good.
be like this for a while.
Yes, enjoying the sun. Oh, that's so bad, man. It's just
Oh my God,
I don't
yeah.
like this. Well,
I mean, it is a lot better. I was talking to my parents. It's a lot better having it sunny right now, and us not being able to go out than it being rainy.
That's true.
I think we're
that's very true.
complaining about the heat and being like, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. We can't go outside."
But secretly, we're like, oh, this is very nice.
yes, it's very nice.
That's what I'm like. It's too hot, too warm, but it is very, very
Very
nice. In our news, so opposing the Boris Johnson news, in our news,
Yes.
we defrosted our fridge.
Yes, it was a large event.
Yeah.
yes.
The ice has been battered to,
Yes.
as we have an old style fridge, so that's
Very
our
old
main
style. It
news.
was a problem for a long time.
Yes.
Is that anything we leave in there would gradually get soaked over a course of a week or so.
As the ice starts to build up.
Yes.
But
so
we have reset
we've
that
conquered
back.
it.
We have,
We've
yeah.
strived forth.
For the moment, but I feel like the ice will be back, just like
Yes.
the White Walkers.
Winter
It will
is
return
coming
at some point.
Yes, winter is coming,
Oh my goodness.
and even in this heat.
Well, you are not wrong, actually. Winter is coming.
Winter is always
Still-
coming. That's kind of the point. of winter.
Just a cycle.
The
Yeah.
cycle, yes.
I guess lockdown review. We've said NT live streams. I think that's another one.
Oh yes, I mean I haven't managed to see anything.
No, neither have
so
I.
far,
But it still
it's
exists.
awesome thing that they're doing. They did One Man, Two Governors last week, which I missed.
NT National Theatre. For
Yes.
those of you who are not familiar, live streams. One and Two Governors. I actually saw live a number of years ago with James
Yeah.
Corden. So I think that was the original cast, and then they changed it again. But I think it's the one. It's
How
the one
was
with
that?
James
Yeah,
Corden. Isn't
yeah.
it? It was very funny. It was slapstick. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of they played a lot with archetypes of characters. There was one very old butler character was just very frail and quite funny when he walked on. He really played on his frailness, and him and James Corden got into a few, or him and the main characters got into a few tiffs. There's one time I think when he gets pushed down the stairs accidentally. You know, classic slapstick British comedy.
James Corden's actually very talented, isn't he?
He's a very talented guy. Yeah,
It's kind of
I think
understated a little bit.
I think it's worth seeing if you're up for something funny.
Yes.
One Man, Two
But all
Governors.
the National Theatre streaming a lot of their shows periodically now during the lockdown.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Go see it because I will. Next
I
one
think-
that goes out.
I think Andrew Lloyd Webber as well has.
Oh, really?
Did he release some free musicals or something, or he's
Yeah.
made some musicals free to access to the public? That's what I've read somewhere.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
pretty
there's
good.
a lot of things we can take advantage of
Mm.
now. There's like considering everyone's on lockdown, they're putting a lot of stuff out for free, so which is great.
That's
It's,
true. In that way, everyone's banding together.
Yeah.
In other news, at our household,
Yes.
we have created the table tennis table
Yes.
out of a
yes.
normal dining table. We have extended it, and
Mhm. In lack of us being able to go out and do sports as much as we
The
would
normal,
like,
yeah.
but, we've become to go more creative in here. Our table tennis table is actually it's been
that's right. We have set up a. Well, how else can we describe it? I guess it's just a makeshift home table tennis table.
yes
The net comprises of a few board
Different
games
board
and
games.
DVDs and cards.
yes
So that's fun.
something that anyone can do at home. So
Exactly.
so-
And I guess probably everyone has had is a small family of flies has moved in.
yes, we've not the only residents now.
It's because of the heat.
It's They've
Ukraine
made
gets
their home.
Ukraine also gets quite hot in the summer,
Right,
and
yeah.
this is what happens. A family of flies will move in to any place that
Yeah.
has a lot of heat.
Oh, we it started out with one fly, and I think that's what happened. We let that.
Well, we
fly-
opened the windows really, didn't we? So
Oh,
we
yeah.
opened all our windows because our apartment is on the second level of a 3-level
Yeah,
building,
complex
so
thing.
the heat I guess rises. The fire
The
rises.
flies, yes, and the
And
flies.
and the fly rises. And-
yeah, I mean, we encouraged the first fly. We didn't crack down instantly enough on the first fly, and I think he multiplied.
That's really sad. Being
I mean,
pacifists that we
yes,
are.
exactly. I'm not going to crack down too much, but they're not doing too badly. There's
No, they haven't got to their maximum annoyance point yet. have
no,
they?
yes.
And I guess
That
that's
is our
wraps up our news.
wraps up our news theory. Yes.
As
Yes. Oh, I've got one last thing of world news.
All right.
A positive end note is that three animals which were on the verge of extinction last year, or dwindling in numbers, the blue whales, the Notre Dame's bees, after the fire, everyone thought they were burned, and Colorado's wolves are now booming.
Wolves.
And they're back in business, so that's good news. Three animals are less extinct than
I
they
was just
were.
listening to a Joe Rogan podcast not too long ago about the wolves in Minnesota and how they're really, really dangerous. So I think in terms of the wolves, I don't know if that's a good news. For
I mean,
the
it
Americans,
is for
but-
the overall environment. There,
for the environment, absolutely, yeah.
It balances out because they keep the elk moving and etc. and balance
I guess
out
so.
all of the.
That's true.
Yeah.
It does serve the balance of nature.
In general, extinction is a bad thing. We should move to avoid it. Good news, as opposed to
That's your pacifist news of the day too.
Yes.
And I guess our main topic today
Mhm.
is something that has been going around in the arts world, especially the acting arts world.
Yes.
We'll be talking about the Edinburgh Fringe.
Yes, we've been there before.
We have. I have been an audience member.
I've been a participant and actor there a couple times, and it was sad to hear the news that the Fringe has been cancelled this year, as
Yep.
expected, really, with everything going on.
I mean, it's still a bit of a way away, but I think
Oh yeah,
they're not going to take any risks with.
Well, the thing is, it's also the time at the moment when people will be preparing their shows. People will be starting out tours around the UK and stuff,
Yeah.
and that can't happen. So, even if it was on, nobody have any time to prepare enough for it. So it's a
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
just
It's
sad
just
for the
getting
whole
together that's the
theatre
problem,
world.
really. Yeah, getting together is the main problem. If you want to read the full statement about the Fringe, go to the Ed Fringe website, edfringe.com. You'll find all the information you need to know if you have been preparing for it.
It's a good thing they're reimbursing everything they
Are they?
can of it. Yeah, so well, anyone who's given any money
Yeah,
to
I
it
guess
already,
if
they're
you've
giving
already
it
put
back.
some
And
money
all of the
down.
people who would usually make a living off the Fringe, I think they're trying to raise and rally some money up to keep those people funded.
That's
which
true.
is a very good thing to keep it going for next year if it completely
Although there are
crumbles this
some
year.
people there that you just go and they paid the money to be there. Obviously, for I think some comedians they're performing in spaces that they didn't get any money back from. I think if you have the money and if you're a comedian, it's just a good place to raise your profile. If you have the money to do it, I guess, without expecting much back.
Yeah, if you don't
Especially-
expect much back, it's an amazing thing to do.
Yeah,
I think the first time I went there, talk about that.
yeah. I remember I was there with you, except I was an audience member.
Yes,
which
yeah.
I loved. I loved
Yeah.
the whole experience of Edinburgh.
I went there straight after uni.
Yeah,
It was a group of people from my uni course in acting put together a show, and we went up there together. And this was the first summer outside of uni. It was quite a small show, and it was a taster of the Fringe. I was there for a week.
was it a show in a small show, but with a window? Like if it took off, it would be developed. And it was, I think,
Yes,
wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Yes. It was the first time they made the show for. It was testing for audiences, really.
That's right. Yeah.
To see how the show fared for an audience, how to develop it, and the director wanted to see about how verbatim pieces could be performed,
right.
because it's a fully verbatim piece.
And I think Edinburgh serves verbatim pieces really, really well. You certainly had an audience for it.
yes,
I know a lot of people would be interested in seeing those type of shows, and it was a very emotional
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Well, it's from that show that I got the next one.
Yeah, you
Like,
did.
so-
You did. It's from similar company.
Yeah,
And-
so that's why I'd recommend anyone who would put a show up there or is thinking about it to try and do it as much as they can. It's because there are so many opportunities that you get out of it.
That's true.
As much about developing your show and putting it and seeing where that goes as where you can go after it. Even if your show doesn't go anywhere, you can after meeting people. And
That's true. That's very true. It's a lot.
horizon.
It's also a connections.
yeah, it's
a
just
massive
a
connections
massive
event
connections
too, yeah.
festival. Really.
Your second show, Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, yeah, that was. So they saw me in the first show and were like, that person can make a good Juliet.
Yeah, boy.
Yes, and I was cast as Juliet, all male production of the show, set in modern times, 2 rugby teams, and
Good acclaim, I believe. It was good acclaim. Received.
Yeah. There was it was received great acclaim from the across the whole festival. We were there for the whole month the second time round, so that was a completely different experience of seeing more about how the actual festival works and getting the feel for where to go, where to be.
You must have seen productions go and arrive and go if you're there for the whole month.
Oh
especially.
yes, yeah.
Because I think I have a feeling not many productions stay there for the whole month.
No. It tends to be the larger ones of larger funds, larger acclaim stay there longer, and then a lot of the smaller ones come for a week and then go. A big thing about the festival is that all of the actors themselves are promoting their own shows.
That's true. Yeah, leaflets handing out
leaflets, which is
it's an interesting thing to do, especially when the whole place is just full of people. And I remember, it's usually is it August? It's held in July, August.
Yeah, August.
It's so sunny around that time, especially because our summers have now become warmer.
Yeah.
So everyone's out in the sun, either handing out leaflets or going. Also, the Edinburgh Tattoo is on around the same time. So there are people there to see the tattoo, and there are people there for the Fringe. So you get a mix of people who enjoy musical performances and acting performances. So you have a huge palette of people there.
Yeah, the streets are so crowded.
And leading on to the point of handing out leaflets.
Yes.
Basically very, very crowded.
Pretty much, yes. I mean, so there's the main, there's like a main street.
The mile.
The Golden Mile. And walking along there, that's the core place to hand out leaflets for your shows. And so you're walking along, about half the people there are actually in shows. Handing out leaflets for the shows, and then half the people are not.
To the castle, doesn't it? The whole
yes,
the end of the
exactly.
Mile.
So it's chaos really, with so many different shows handing out with flyers and signs, and some people moving puppets around, and then some people just wanting to go shopping.
Yeah,
it's
there are some interesting shops down there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In terms of moving around and shopping when you're at the height of the when you're there in August during the festival, that can be very, very difficult, especially if every 3-5 steps you take, someone is handing you a leaflet.
It can get very annoying. So it can get from both sides of the
in good spirit, mind you. They do that in good spirit.
Everyone is aware of how everyone else feels.
Yeah.
During it, yes.
In the end, everyone's there together.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting place. I didn't go to see the Romeo and Juliet in Edinburgh when you were on, but I went the year before when you were on again. From my perspective, it was very enjoyable exploring Edinburgh, having the time to have a look at many different shows, comedians, acting, a bit of music. Yeah, and especially because we were fresh out of uni, it was interesting to see the quality of performances. Because we went to an acting uni, we are actors ourselves.
Yes.
And we have been trained to a certain standard, and you are actually able to measure that standard when you go to Edinburgh, I think. And I think we were trained quite well. Our guys did really, really well compared to a lot of other schools and a lot of other renowned schools as well. Drama centres that went there, and they weren't as good as you think they might be. Yes,
well, I think there's a lot of. You're saying you can measure the talent of people going there, and I think you can also mostly you can measure the experience.
I would say experience. Yeah, experience. Yes, maybe not talent. I think quality of performance.
Quality of performance, I guess,
because that varies between things.
Yes, yeah. I think a core thing about our uni is that we were shown how to make a piece as much as we were shown how to act.
We were taught in many different ways.
We were taught to devise theatre and come out of that, and I think the quality of the shows our students.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I would definitely agree with that. They were on average better than the ones that we have seen. A lot of comedians there. Edinburgh's quite known for as well, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Some of them free shows, some of them not.
Yeah, that's a great thing about Edinburgh is that you can go there and see so many free shows. You don't have to pay for anything. You can just walk around. On every street corner, probably there's a little bar or an attic going somewhere that you can go and see a comedy show.
That's the thing as well. Even on the Mile, they have little stages that people go up on and perform. I guess for a loud performance or for a performance that involves either a circus act or some sort of cultural act. Because I remember there are things like the Mongolian dancers and things like that there. Yeah. So it's perfect being on the street and performing those type of acts. I think that's a perfect location.
Yeah.
But for more intimate shows like Romeo and Juliet, you do need to go and see them inside.
There's over 1,000 venues.
Yeah.
And each venue will have 4 or 5 different shows on throughout the day.
Tight scheduling as well, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Our show on less so the first one because it was a smaller space and it was a bit easier to turn around on. But on Romeo and Juliet, we had a show before us and after us, so we had a setup to do. We had an AstroTurf that we needed to put down on the floor and tape down every day.
Yeah.
But the show before us was called Chocolate, and their show was a physical dance piece.
Was it messy?
Involving chocolate flakes.
Wow.
And lots of chocolate. So they would cover themselves in chocolate throughout the show. It was a really interesting premise, but it was
Quite a tasty premise.
Tasty premise. Like the smell that we had throughout in the first 5 minutes of our show, usually.
I mean,
yeah.
Adds to the experience.
A part of the
Romeo and
experience
Juliet.
is what we had was as much about the show was the turnover and turn in. So because one show was ushered out, the audience was ushered out, and then we came in with a mission to try and set up as quickly as we can. And once our show was done, we did all the talks and etc. We were timing it the entire time, and then we had to usher ourselves out as fast as possible after that and let the new people in. It was very interesting to see all of the different. Because in that section, because we could see all the actors and the company and etc. But we were also aware, very much working in close collaboration with all of the
I think
producers and
that's
everything
really
that work on the venue.
That's really a point to be made as well. Is that the Fringe invites and I guess grows a kind of team spirit between companies and a lot of other acts.
Yeah,
because you'll get acts that will have seen you on the night before, handing you a leaflet that night, and you will go to see those acts that went to see you. And obviously, striking the set and doing it the next day again, there's an element of teamwork there, and I think unless you're on your own, it's quite crucial to have that as a company.
Oh yes, yeah,
and to build on that.
Yeah. Both times I went there, we lived in a shared space, as in we were 5 of our cast was in one room, or like beds like 2 meters apart from each other for the whole month, and so the bond we made throughout that experience was that's part of the experience.
Yeah,
you get close to people and knowing the people on the either side of you on your venue, either side of your time slot, half the experience really.
I guess it is. It's a very intense experience, I guess, for an actor.
Yeah. Trying to manage your time there as well, especially if you're there for a month. If you're there for the first week, you can kind of ride on the exhilaration of it, the adrenaline, which keep you going for the week. But for the month, you are trying to balance the time of trying to see all the shows that you want to in the day, but then also trying to find some time to yourself was another big challenge. You have trying to find time to just relax and do what you, so to reset the timer and not like get overly socialed out, because that's
I even found that as an audience member, it's quite an interesting thing to balance. It's your time to see things, to explore Edinburgh, to do a lot of things. And because there are so many shows to see, you have to be picky about which you do see.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah. There were so many shows I wish I could have seen.
Yeah, same here. But I guess we were picky, especially when we went there the first time. There were some really memorable shows for me. Flesh and Bone by Elliot Warren, someone who went to our university. I thought that was incredible.
Incredible show, yeah.
Fantastic show about a group of working class people in London who have to battle prejudices, social constructs. Very thought-provoking.
Yes,
very thought-provoking play. Powerful. It had a diverse amount of action. But diversity is actually probably the key word there as well. Yeah.
But the interesting thing about that show was that they had all of those social issues that they fought through, the modern contemporary issues, and the way they did it was they did it all through spoken word and almost Shakespeare-esque language, which was modern contemporary language obviously, but like the rhythms of they continuously spoke draws you in.
Some very stylized scenes as well.
Yeah.
But we managed to, I think they came to see your show, some of the actors.
Yeah, they did.
From Flesh and Bone. And Flesh and Bone, so we went to see them when they were making a return journey to Edinburgh. So this wasn't their first time. This was I think it was their second time, but they have already received acclaim for the show the first time they went, and everyone loved them. So they went there the second time to do, I guess, I think it was the start of their tour, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
And after that,
They
they
were only
went
there for 3 days or so.
That's true. They were only there for a selected amount of time, and after that, I believe they went to Australia or someplace to tour their shows.
Yeah, I think it was
They were very successful.
incredibly successful.
They won an Olivier Award, I believe, as well.
Yeah,
Fantastic show.
yeah.
Amazing.
If you ever get a chance to see Flesh and Bone, I'm not sure how long still going to be doing it.
I don't know if they are still doing
They're
it.
probably, or if they come back to it with a different cast or something at a later
They're
date.
probably just doing it indoors right now.
yeah,
For themselves. But
Speaking
incredible.
of theatre, my friend is doing an online Macbeth, as in Jess is doing an online Macbeth
Really?
show with webcams. So every
Oh my
character
God.
is online, is like just with their webcam and doing
Live
their,
from London.
Live, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I need to
I guess a lot of people are doing that right now. I mean, why did we take up the podcast?
do
Chime
something.
in with like creative.
Something creative.
Spirit.
This time. Yes.
I think we've got to give that a go then. Got to give that a look in, a look
Yes.
see.
Maybe we should do a two-man radio drama.
I was thinking about that.
I'd be up for that.
I'd be definitely up for that. If you want to see us do a 2-man radio drama, then
Yes.
I guess reply in the comments.
Yes, leave
wherever-
a like or whatever.
That's right,
it is.
or a rating of some
Or
sort.
however.
Just drop us a message, I guess.
Yes,
if you
yes.
like to. Well, what will it be though? Will it be comedy or will it be drama? Or
I think we could do a little bit of both. I think
that's true.
I think we have a
Wide range.
wide range of things we've done together in the past.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I'm
A
up for dabbling in
two-hander,
all
a
of them.
two-hander that we could do.
Yeah, I'm up for dabbling in it.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
Yes. Keep tuned. Keep tuned.
And keep in touch. If you like what we're doing here, then keep in touch.
I think we've there's like so much more I could say on Edinburgh
yeah.
Fringe. I think it's a topic that I mean, it's just a massive festival. You can't summarize it in 20 minutes.
You
but-
can't. That's true.
And I can't remember. There was one show which was a comedy slapstick sort of performance with a lot of audience involvement. And
Oh, was it the Shakespeare thing?
no, it wasn't. It was three women, and they did 3 hairdressers, and they were in a salon, and there's got a lot of antics and etc. But it was a hilarious show, yes. But I think what made it so special was our particular audience. It turned into pantomime-esque sort of audience involvement levels, and it was absolutely incredible, really, how it developed. As in, one person actually got their hair shaven on stage and let it happen by one of the actors, for an example. But I wish I could come up with that.
Some of the things that go on at the Fringe are, sometimes you just might believe.
Yeah.
There's a show called, pardon my language, I tried not to swear and I've been good at it so
Yes,
far, but
yes.
there's a show called Shit-Faced Shakespeare.
Mhm.
And when I went to see it the first time, they did a Hamlet. And the thing with it really is that I guess they draw a name out of a hat, a name of an actor
Throughout the
who's
day.
got to drink throughout the day. And the actor has to go on stage drunk.
Yeah.
The 2 of the audience members get, I think, a horn and is it a drum? or something?
Yeah.
And if that audience member doesn't think that the actor who's been drinking the whole day is drunk enough, then the MC will drink. He probably will drink, but he'll also bring on an extra drink that the actor has to down. There are times that it's absolutely hilarious, and the audience around the people that are in charge of these drums, they probably peer pressure them a little bit into tooting the horn or whatever it is. But it's definitely a funny show to see. That was the funniest show I've seen. I think my favorite one was probably Flesh and Bone, just because it was so diverse, and the pacing of it and the story of it was very it had everything. It had comedy, it had drama. It was just very interesting to watch. They used the space really, really well. In terms of food, that's another thing. The most memorable thing that I remember is the pizza. Is the pizza place where they give you the pizza in like a tray, they lift up in the tray, and do you not remember?
I remember many places like that.
I wish I remembered the name, but as with all things, age takes over and your memory
Yes,
has to go.
we're getting old.
Exactly. 25 going on to 80. If you are going on the main street, there's also Pizza Hut. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about pizza.
pizza.
I'm going to stop talking about
There are
pizza.
more foods than pizza at the Ed
There are
Fringe.
more foods than pizza. Explore the range.
Explore the range. It's a festival. It's so much stuff.
But it's a very memorable
Yeah.
festival. I have wanted to take things to the festival. I guess
Yes, yeah.
if you want to take something to the festival, there are many options that you could you could partner with a theatre. I know some of the Bristol theatres here give people the option to take some things. I know theatres in Southampton do the same thing, and I guess London and drama schools do that. I think our university has started to explore that option.
Mhm.
So there are many options. The main problem being, of course, are the finances, and to filter it through a theatre is probably a good way to finance a show.
Yes.
But if you do want to take it up, by all means. As I just briefly said, I have wanted to take a few shows up there.
Yeah.
It's deciding
What sort
on the
of,
right shows.
what sort of shows have you been thinking about doing that?
I've been thinking about Lungs by Duncan Macmillan.
Yes.
I remember exploring that early, just before we left university, and the problem with that was acquiring the rights to the show, because Claire Foy and Matt Smith are fresh off probably a set of The Crown.
Yeah.
They were doing a performance of Lungs, and it was not known to me that they were doing that. And then 3 or 4 months later, after my application got rejected, I found out that they were doing another bigger version of Lungs, so not a Fringe version. But that was a great show. I remember you and Mimi were part of that, and I really enjoyed.
Well, when the rights
directing
come out, I would love to perform that.
Well, yeah. If I think they might just be concerned with the amount of profit that they might make. Out
Yeah, of course.
which is the sad part. But I
But
guess
yes, that concludes the Edinburgh Fringe show. Yeah.
topic of this podcast.
Yes.
And I guess our next section will be recommendations.
Yes.
We again came with a book and a TV, not a TV show, a film.
Yes. So, Doggen,
Yes.
what is your knowledge of the zombie genre?
The zombie genre.
What's your experience with that?
My experience would be Brad Pitt with semi-long hair running around and trying to save the world from a pandemic that's taking over the world. I believe rabies was the main cause of people becoming zombies.
Yeah. Okay.
World War Z,
You
the
World
film.
War Z, yeah.
I think very underrated. I think a brilliant
Okay, yeah,
film.
it's good. It's good. Yeah. The zombie acting in it is great, actually. That's a good one.
Method acting.
Method acting, exactly. That's saying. But one film that I'd like to recommend is One Cut of the Dead by Shin'ichiro Ueda. Forgiveness if I say that name wrong.
Never seen that film.
It's an incredible film. So it starts with a 20-minute long one-take zombie classic, low-budget sort of zombie film, and then it completely twists it on its head. So the first time I watched it, it just appeared on TV, and I watched it with my family. We saw the first 20 minutes. We laughed because it was kind of a little on the nose sort of spoofy about old zombie films and some modern zombie films and all that. And so we watched that, we laughed, and we thought, oh, okay, that was a fun 20 minutes. There we go. The credits were rolling and etc. And then we were just about to turn it off, and then it changed to, and it just continued. The characters. And I don't want to say too much about what the twist is, what actually happens in it, because it's an incredible one. I think from an actor's point of view, from someone who has knowledge of like actors and improvising, things like that, and I think you find this absolutely hilarious.
I'd love that. I've heard about it a lot. I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah,
One Cut of the Dead.
One Cut of the Dead. So I was watching it and hysterics the entire time.
Did you say it's like a play on Shaun of the Dead?
Not a play. No, I play on genre zombie movies in general.
Yeah.
In general, it's a play on zombie movies and the making of zombie movies. And
That sounds really good.
yeah, it's hysterics all the way through. It just gets increasingly more ridiculous.
Is it Korean?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's a great film. So
Right.
my recommendation.
I did a film last episode, and
Yes, which I
I
still
think
haven't been able to see.
we will see.
Yes.
I think tonight maybe we'll
Yeah,
watch that.
I'm up for that.
I'm up for that.
Unfortunately,
too.
I've just been too busy. Got
I think
too
we
much
all
stuff.
have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, my schedule is so full
Yeah,
right
well-
now. But we have been doing a diverse range of things. Really.
Mhm.
Yes. And today is my turn to recommend a book.
Yes.
And everyone knows this book, The Hobbit, by J.R.R. Tolkien. Classic tale of small people winning the world over and making you feel good about everything.
That is one of my favourite books
That
of
is-
all time. Yeah.
The reason why I chose it is because I think it has something to do with the weather. It's sunny, warm, and in The Hobbit, I imagine there to be a tree roots with green aged moss, and the trees are allowed to grow freely. And in the ground, there are hobbit holes dotted around, I guess, a secretive landscape.
Yeah, valleys of green.
Exactly, and they are not. The hobbits are not seen unless they want to be seen. I think that was an emphasis
Yes.
and I look around us, and we are living in a valley, and when you read it in a setting that we're in right now, it's just wonderful. It evokes colors of gold and yellow and earthy green, and it's just a really
Fills you with a warm feeling.
it does. It really, really does. It's a very happy book to read. It's a daydreamy book because you do lock yourself into your own imagination, and you just summon wonderful pictures.
Yeah.
Smaug is a great character in the book. Oh, I feel like, is that going to be a spoiler if I say Smaug?
No,
You'll find out who
that's-
Smaug is if you've never read the book. But if you have read the book, you know who he is. I think he's a pivotal character in the book.
Smaug is mentioned from the start. So.
Good. Yeah, Smaug should be mentioned from the start. But I think I will be giving it a go again.
Yeah.
I have read it multiple times before.
Yeah, I grew up reading it. I read it probably on repeat. Growing up, really, because
Well, it's a book that you would want to read again and again.
yeah.
But The Hobbit is the book that I would recommend. I think it's the time. It's that you say to yourself over a period of time that, okay, I'm going to read it again at some point, but you take a bit of time. Not your life gets in the way and you don't read it for a while. And I think with the time that we have now, a lot of us can take the time to read The Hobbit.
Yeah.
It's a short book. It's
There's
not.
something to be said about fantasy genre at this time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
people have less time for fantasy when they are working.
when
than
they're
they are busy.
when they're busy and their minds are working on
That's right.
what to do in the life of it. When fantasy, you can properly escape, and you at this time when you have nothing to do but sit in the sun, you can let your mind escape.
I'm not saying that you have nothing to do, listener, but if you do find yourself with nothing to do, then escape into a book or a film.
Yes.
You have plenty of options. One Cut of the Dead and The Hobbit. I think that those are kind of two classics, really, aren't they? In their genres.
Oh,
I think they are. I've heard of One Cut of the Dead before. You mentioned it before, and
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
And I guess that wraps up
Wraps up
our
our-
recommendation
Yes.
section of the show.
Should we say a little bit about our next topic next week?
Yes. We are looking forward to future episodes.
Yes. We're going to keep this going.
Yeah, definitely. We like the sound of our own voices. I know I like the sound
exactly.
of my voice.
I tend not to like the sound of my own voice, which is another reason which I want to do this.
Fair enough.
I like to get used to it. I like to not cringe when I watch myself back. And
Yeah,
things like that.
same with me. But I like
week.
Yeah, next week.
Unknown cocaine dinosaur.
Unknown cocaine. That should be a.
Is that
Well,
right?
you have it. I feel like if we start with cocaine, yeah, that's just a tongue twister right there.
Yeah.
I think we will be talking about our life our life after university as actors.
Versus our expectations as actors
Yeah.
going into it. What the last 2 years has kind of
Given us
and
what we've been through, I guess. Oh man, you don't know what we've been through. Oh man.
well, the stories we could
Yeah.
tell you.
You weren't there, man. You weren't there. But a bit more of that, maybe a bit more of the voices.
Yeah, I like that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm very up for doing a
A show, like a little mini show.
yeah, mini show.
I'm really up for doing that. Actually, I've been thinking about that as like a side episode.
Yeah,
Episode 2.1 or episode 1.1. The plan is life after uni, expectation versus reality.
yes.
And I guess that wraps up our show for today. Today. We should.
Oh, is that
Together.
today?
Not quite harmonised, but I
Not
guess
quite,
we can work on
on
harmonising it.
Yeah. Stay safe, everyone.
Stay locked indoors as you should be.
Yes, as we are. And
Thank you for listening.
thank you for listening. Arrivederci.